So let's talk about the reality of being a business owner and having ADHD. A lot of women, we don't get diagnosed with ADHD until we are in our late 20s or sometimes early 30s and 40s. And I think it's really important to talk about this topic because I feel like it's not commonly discussed, because we have a lot of unique struggles that many other entrepreneurs and business owners might not have. So I hope this video is interesting to you, and let's get into it. First struggle is being multi-passionate. So in order for a business to really grow, one of the key things that you have to have is focus. And I have had over a dozen different businesses. I've had everything from a digital product business to a couple of blogs and websites, but none of them seem to stick. And especially when it's come to YouTube channels, like my biggest thing has been trying to find that balance between pleasing myself and making the content that I like to make and making content that keeps people coming back over and over again. I remember at one point I tried to do a natural hair channel, and it was super fun for a little while, but then I got really tired of talking about hair. I feel like there's only so many hairstyles and products that you can use without having to lean into consumerism. And so this is the first YouTube channel where I kind of kept it open, and I'm focusing on life in a specific area of time, mainly your 20s. And so that's the biggest thing for ADHD if you have a business, is maybe instead of focusing on niching down, look into a way that you can accommodate all of your different passions and interests pertaining to a subject and narrow it down to where your target audience is the same. The next unique struggle that a lot of business owners with ADHD might have is no lack of ideas. So I know for me, the problem isn't that I can't come up with ideas, which is something that I've heard a lot of other YouTubers talk about. My issue is that I usually have way too many ideas and I don't know which one to do first. This can cause me to have a lot of frustration, and then sometimes I end up not posting anything at all, which is what has been happening ever since I got back from Mexico. I couldn't figure out where I wanted to come back with, and my biggest tip for this one is to give yourself time. Nobody says that you have to post something right now. If you want, make all of the videos or content that you need and then put it into a folder, and then whenever you want to post that content, you can post it. The next unique struggle is overwhelm. So I read this really cool thing about spoons in ADHD. So how it works is that neurodivergent people have a certain amount of spoons, and spoons represents energy. And so they have a certain amount of energy that they can use each and every day. And so once those spoons run out, they are tired. For example, whereas a neurotypical person might have 16 spoons to start their day, us neurodivergent people might have 8 spoons. And I'd say on a good night of sleep and some pretty good food, I'm on 8 spoons. Usually getting to work, that takes 2 spoons out of me because it's so tiring. And then my actual day takes 3 spoons out of me. So then I end up having 3 spoons left when I come home from work. And that's when I have to decide on my eating plan and what I'm doing for the rest of the day, and if I want to take a shower, because my showering and night routine takes 1.5 spoons. So sometimes I only have 1.5 spoons left over for me to do whatever else I need to do. This means that if I have some big business tasks that I need to do, then I need to put them on days where I have nothing else. For example, last week I had to file my taxes, and I knew that that was going to take my 1.5 spoons, and so I wasn't able to do anything on that day for YouTube. And so I think it's really important that as someone with ADHD and an entrepreneur, that we're able to make schedules based on our energy. For example, if you wake up one day and you have 12 spoons and you are pumped and ready to go, this rarely happens for me, that's when you want to plan your activities that you know are going to take a lot of energy. For example, filming. Filming days are usually going to happen on the weekends because that's when I'm more well rested and I have more spoons to give. But on the rare occasion that I do film on a weekday, I feel really proud of myself. When you take into consideration your energy and every part of your life, that's when things get a lot better. The next unique ADHD struggle is not knowing where to start. So So running a business might seem easy, but it's actually a lot of running and moving parts. Like in a YouTube channel, you have the customization of the YouTube channel, you have your channel title, your channel tags, and then you have the actual video content that you make, your branding, and then whatever you're doing to promote your content. That is 6 different things, and you have to wear all of those hats. And so one thing that has really helped me is creating a schedule. And I'm so excited to talk about this because it's really changed my life. But I do the same thing every single time. So first, I come up with my video idea. Usually it's something that I've already thought about or that I've researched. Next, I will go and I will write down all of the different bullet points of what I want to talk about. Next, I'll create a long version of a script. This long version of the script has all of my ideas, all of my thoughts in it. But this is where some people go wrong because they'll take this long version of the script, sit in front of the camera, and they'll try to say it. Sometimes this could end up with a really robotic video, and I don't like to do this either because my brain can only retain so much information. So after I've made this long version of the script, I'll sit down and I'll make bullet points again, but I'll condense everything into 1 to 2 words. And I've created this system for myself where the first sentence, which is the most important sentence in the video, I'll write out fully, and then everything else will be in small bullet points. This makes it to where my memorization process is a lot better. The next part really depends on my energy and how much time I have. If I have a lot of time, then I will start memorizing this shorter, condensed version of the script. This time, by the time I've actually sat in front of the camera, I've rehearsed the script over and over and over again, and I know it like the back of my hand. Then I go and I film and record. Usually I try to batch record 2 videos, no more than 3 videos, because I noticed that after 3 videos, my energy is completely gone. So I'll record the videos, and in between each video, I will put the video on my computer and I'll rough cut it and put it all together into one project. And one of the biggest things with ADHD is the barrier to start activities. So if I have a video that's already rough cutted and segmented together, when I go to edit it, it'll be a super fast process. So this has saved me hours and hours of editing, and I think I got this idea from Catherine Manning. Having a schedule will make it to where the process of creating content is very comfortable, and the good thing is you can do this with any kind of content. The next ADHD specific struggle that I struggle with is having an overwhelmed mind. There will be some weeks where my daily tasks take up so many spoons that I can't even do anything. And it'll be to the point where literally I will come home from school and I will crash on the couch. And it's very frustrating for me because these are the days when I really want to do things, but I just can't get my brain and my body to work together. And I've since realized that this is hormonal for me. Every time I go through my luteal phase, during the middle of it, around days 18, 19, 20, I really get into this funk. And my biggest tip for this is to pay attention to your bodily cues and rest. Most things that you have to do really aren't that important. I used to be such a stickler for a posting schedule, and if I couldn't post my videos on Wednesday or Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., then I felt like a failure, and then I just wouldn't post a video that week. And I realized that although it is important to have a posting schedule, when you're first building your channel and you're underneath 1,000 subscribers, a lot of the people that are going to be watching your video are new viewers. And so really your posting schedule doesn't matter. And so there's no need to stress yourself out trying to get your videos out on the same day every single week, because the people who watch it are going to be new people each time probably anyway. And I wish I could have told my other self that, because so many YouTube channels ended because I felt like I couldn't post on the same day and I wasn't being consistent. The second to last ADHD specific struggle is choices. So the other day I decided that I wanted to go and look for some help for my YouTube channel. As you guys know, I have a business and I actually wrote and published a book. But the problem was that I needed to find a way to make all the pieces of my business fit together in a very cohesive way. And so I started looking things up, and all of the strategies and people that I saw were overwhelming. There was brand managers, brand strategists, social media managers, social media strategists. I literally spent like an hour and a half looking at all of these different professionals that I could use to help me. And the problem is that every choice feels like it's life or death. And here's the best thing to do when you're hit with this situation: to write things down. So for me, processing things is a really slow process, and if I try to keep it all in my brain, I tend to get really overwhelmed and confused. So try your best to find a method that works for you to process your information so that you're not stressing out or getting too overwhelmed at all the different choices that you have. So the last unique struggle that business owners with ADHD might face is executive dysfunction. So I had to bring up my phone to look up what executive dysfunction is, and it says cognitive and behavioral skills related to planning, organizing, and executing tasks, impacting daily activities and responsibilities. And so this includes things like organization. I know for me, organization is a little bit of a struggle, but I have learned to deal with this by being anal about where I put things. For example, I brought this fireproof bag from Amazon, and I keep all of my things in it that I need to film, from my batteries to my SD card readers to all my different cords, my mics, and this really keeps me on track because it's when it's time. This really keeps me on track because when it's time to film, I go to that bag, grab what I need, and I keep it moving. I used to just put my things places and lay them down, and then I would be really upset when it came time for me to film. And this made it to where I wasn't filming as much as I needed to be successful. So come up with some organization hacks that work for you, and they don't have to make sense to anyone else. Overall, being a business owner with ADHD is such a humbling but beautiful experience. I found that when you are in your place that you're supposed to be, your ADHD isn't something that holds you back. It's something that can actually really help you. And so I really hope that some of these tips and tricks helped you out and make you feel a little bit less discouraged with moving forward, because people with all types of different neurodivergence can also be successful business owners. And now let's get on to our moment of inspiration. So today's moment of inspiration, I'm just going to pray us out. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up this morning and starting us on our way. I thank you, Lord, for the person who is watching this video. I pray that hopefully this video was encouraging to them, because I know how discouraging it can be when your body doesn't line up with your brain. And Lord, I pray that you would take this seed or this business idea that they may have planted in them, and that you would give them the courage to step out on faith and to start watering and planting that seed. And I also pray, Lord, that you would give them the things that they need to help it to grow. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big fat like, and also press the subscribe button down below. We're on the journey to 1,000 subscribers and growing every day. Also, make sure that you go to the description box down below where you can purchase a copy of my novel, Since When the Single Me Sad. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Bye.